San Francisco's Golden Gate Theater reopens with the Andrew Lloyd Webber classic Jesus Christ Superstar. It's been 50 years, believe it or not, since its debut in London. It's the story of the final days of Jesus Christ told through the eyes of Judas. And here to tell us more is the actor who plays the starring role of Judas, James T. Justis. Welcome to Bay Area Focus.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And James, first I have to ask you, how does it feel for theater to be back in action?
It feels surreal. That's the only thing I can say. I'm so grateful because we're one of the first companies back on tour, and we're opening. We're the first in a lot of cities. We're the first in Portland. We're the first in Seattle. I'm not sure if we're going to be the first in San Francisco, but it's a really exciting thing to be a part of that history.
And you've taken on roles in everything from Ragtime to Smokey Joe's Cafe, also Kinky Boots. How'd you first catch the theater bug?
I was watching Pippin with Ben Vereen, and I said, I can do that. And I just wanted, that was one of the ones that really got me into, studying theater back in high school. And ever since then, I've just been pursuing it, and here I am.
Yeah, Ben Vereen, he is an icon for sure. And now you're taking on the role of Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar. What was it that attracted you to this particular character?
I did this once before, and I didn't know anything about it. And then I did the musical, and I loved it, and I loved the role. And then I had a chance to do Judas a couple times before, and then I started studying the character of Judas, studying the archetype, studying the Bible and the books left out of the Bible, and I fell in love with the character because he's been, had a bad rep for a long time, but there's different perspectives out there that haven't been talked about or discussed as much with things out, like the Gospel of Judas has come out, for example. That tells us a different perspective on the show. And this show, Tim Rice, the lyricist, wanted to give Judas a voice just to see what he would say, the conversations that were going on in that time. And it just gives us a nuanced perspective on Judas and who that character is.
And taking on that voice, what were some of the challenges you had to tackle taking on Judas? I know there's a lot of singing involved.
Yeah, it's very demanding vocally. It's a high tenor role. You have to have the high notes, and you also have the grit because it's a rock opera. So it's rock. So you hear the grit and doing that 8 shows a week. It's a challenge, but you have to have a good vocal technique to make it happen and make it happen successfully.
Yeah, and you got the role, so you definitely make it happen, right?
Yeah.
And this is the 50th anniversary production of Jesus Christ Superstar. What do you think it is about this production that keeps audiences, coming back decade after decade?
Well, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, they wrote a really great musical. This was actually an album. It was a rock album that went to the Billboard charts in 1972 first, and we are giving homage to that album. So it's about the music. It's a rock concert mixed in with a dance concert. As you can see, there's a lot of dancing in it. And so basically, what I'm asking is everything you've known about Jesus Christ Superstar before, because it was a rock concert, or a rock album first, and before it was ever a stage show. So basically, what we're doing is making it a rock concert, dance show. And if you close your eyes, you will, it'll be more, in tune with the rock album and giving honor to that.
And I'm glad you brought up that history because it's such an interesting one because no one even wanted to produce the show originally. That's why it became an album.
It's very controversial, basically because of the role of Judas. Like I said, he's been given such a bad rap throughout time, and this really gives him a voice, and and also the fact that Judas was played by a black man, most of the time it is but I'm honored to be that voice for Judas because I really, as I've studied him more and growing up as a Christian and that kind of stuff, I in what I've been taught about Judas, I now see he was a human that had to make some tough choices, and without him, the whole plan of salvation, if you think about it, could not have been achieved.
And you touched on this a bit. For someone seeing the show for the first time, what do you think they will walk away learning or feeling?
I really think that questioning, what we've learned about Judas, and also a feeling of the sheer power of the music and the dance that's in the show that really, really telling that story of the mob, the same people that, praised him and praised Jesus and supported him are the same people that tore him down, and I see a lot of reflection in our society today. And I think art imitates life.
That's an interesting point there. And before you go, who do you look up to? Who are your influences?
Well, my biggest influence growing up, I went to a Michael Jackson concert, and that changed my life when I was 10 years old. And I said, I'm going to do that one day. And I went to performing arts high school, and I studied the greats like Luther Vandross, Patti LaBelle, Whitney Houston, many of the greats that, I got to go back, kind of dating myself a little bit, but some of the best singers that I've, really patterned myself after. So those are some of my biggest. Oh, and also Billy Porter, big Broadway star and star of Pose right now. But that's been a lot of my influences.
Yeah, can't forget Billy. And you mentioned a lot of great singers, and you are one of them as well. The 50th anniversary tour of Jesus Christ Superstar. I mean it. This reopens San Francisco's Golden Gate Theater and runs from October 13th through November 7th. For tickets, visit BroadwaySF.com.